The biggest differences between Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, and Lee Child's book. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back is just another movie in a sea of book-to-film adaptations with many inaccuracies from the source material. The film, starring Tom Cruise, follows an ex-military drifter named Jack Reacher who travels to Washington in order to have a reunion with his friend Susan Turner, Cobby Smulders, only to find out that she has been wrongfully prosecuted and imprisoned. From then, we follow Reacher as he strives to unravel a major government conspiracy while simultaneously fleeing more Tom Cruise running sequences after being falsely accused of another crime. Even though the film had a strong narrative to work with, especially given that it is based on a popular novel, it had inconsistencies that resulted in substantial differences from its original material. From entirely rewriting the relationships between main characters to opting to introduce a central, singular villain, the changes between the film and the novel it is based on are quite apparent, further proving that it would have been better off as an independent story. Tom Cruise is a phenomenal actor who, despite being in his 60s, continues to risk his life by performing outrageous stunts, but this may have backfired when they decided to cast him in Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. His role in the film is one of the most glaring differences, since the source material clearly states that Jack Reacher is a robustly built, muscular man weighing 250 pounds and standing over 6 feet tall. While Cruise's dashing looks and action moves can entirely captivate viewers, Lee Child's book has written the character in a distinct manner. Alan Ritchson has been cast as the titular character in Prime Video's Reacher, also based on Lee Child's Jack Reacher novel series, and it is the pitch-perfect casting that fans have been hoping for since the release of Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher. Furthermore, Reacher's personality in Lee Child's book creates an impression that he is more of a loner than a pleasant guy who enlists all the help he can to get an advantage. In this aspect, Alan Ritchson's Reacher is a more accurate portrayal, since he does not trust anybody easily in the popular TV series. Reacher's personality in Lee Child's book creates an impression that he is more of a loner than a pleasant guy. Even at the end of the film, we see Tom Cruise's Reacher texting Samantha while smiling, whereas, in the book, Reacher throws away the phone and resumes his journey. These changes may have been subtle, but they serve a critical role in offering audiences an overview of the main character's behavior and how he prefers to get things done. Lee Child's Jack Reacher novel features a number of interesting antagonists who contribute to the intricate story, but the screenwriters of Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, took the villainous role in an entirely different direction. In the film, Cruise's Reacher faces up against a single villain, the Hunter, Patrick Hoisinger, an infamous mercenary who proves a formidable opponent to be reckoned with. In Lee Child's novel, Reacher had no adversary who could rival his intellect and physical powers, which often resulted in him being almost infallible. Perhaps this is why the film chose a different villain who proves to be a match for the protagonist. Nonetheless, the Hunter's inclusion in the movie was another substantial change from the book, which, in some ways, worked in the movie's favor. When Hollywood adapts a novel, changes are inevitable. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, the 2016 action thriller starring Tom Cruise, is based on Lee Child's 2013 novel of the same name. While the movie retains the book's central plot, the wrongful accusations against Major Susan Turner and Reacher's quest to clear both their names, many significant differences exist between the two versions. These changes include major plot alterations, character modifications, and thematic shifts that impact the overall tone of the story. Below, we examine the biggest differences between the book and the film. 1. Jack Reacher's physical appearance. One of the most controversial aspects of the Jack Reacher film series has been Tom Cruise's portrayal of the title character. In Lee Child's books, Reacher is a towering 6'5" and 250 pounds with a rugged and intimidating presence. He's a physical force of nature, often using his sheer size and strength to overpower opponents. Cruise, while a skilled action star, is significantly smaller at 5'7", which fundamentally changes how Reacher operates in fights. In the books, Reacher's fights are often won before they begin because of his imposing presence. In the movies, his victories rely more on agility, speed, and skill. This size discrepancy is a core difference that many fans of the novels found hard to overlook. 2. Samantha's parentage mystery. One of the major subplots in both the book and movie is Reacher discovering that he may have a teenage daughter, Samantha Dayton. In the book, this turns out to be a misunderstanding. Samantha's mother had a brief relationship with another military man, and Reacher is ultimately not the father. The movie, however, keeps the mystery going until the end, making it a much larger emotional subplot. While the film suggests that Reacher has developed an emotional attachment to the girl, it also leaves room for ambiguity regarding whether he truly believes he is her father. The novel, on the other hand, is far clearer in resolving this aspect of the story. 3. The villains, different antagonists, different motivations. The villains in Never Go Back are notably different between the book and the movie. In the novel, the primary antagonist is a corrupt general who is involved in an arms smuggling ring. The story revolves around military corruption and how Reacher and Turner uncover the conspiracy. The film, however, introduces a more generic villain, the Hunter, played by Patrick Hoysinger. The Hunter is a highly skilled, almost superhuman assassin, making him more of a direct threat to Reacher in physical combat. This shift turns the movie into a more action-driven story, rather than the slow-burn investigative thriller that the book delivers. 4. Susan Turner's role and personality. Major Susan Turner is central to both the novel and the film, but her character is portrayed differently in each. In the book, she is an intelligent, capable officer who works alongside Reacher as they unravel the conspiracy. She and Reacher develop a mutual respect, and while there is chemistry, their relationship remains largely professional. In the movie, Turner, played by Cobie Smulders, is given a more action-oriented role. She is portrayed as a fierce fighter who actively participates in combat scenes, making her a more physical presence alongside Reacher. The film also pushes the romantic tension between her and Reacher further than the book does, creating a dynamic that feels more like a Hollywood action partnership rather than the more restrained relationship in the novel. 5. The tone. Thriller versus action movie. Lee Child's Never Go Back is a mystery thriller where Reacher methodically uncovers a conspiracy through investigation, deduction, and occasional bursts of violence. The movie, however, leans heavily into action, focusing on intense fight scenes, car chases, and shootouts. This shift in tone changes the pacing significantly. Whereas the book takes time to build suspense and develop the mystery, the movie prioritizes immediate action and high-stakes confrontations. 6. Setting and journey differences. In the novel, Reacher and Turner's journey takes them across several states as they work to clear their names, involving more investigation and subtle maneuvers to evade their pursuers. The film streamlines this, focusing more on high-speed chases and gunfights, reducing the amount of detective work Reacher does. This not only affects the pacing, but also changes how Reacher operates. Book Reacher is a strategist who relies on careful planning, while movie Reacher is more of a straightforward action hero. 7. The ending, a more personal versus cinematic resolution. The book's ending is more methodical and satisfying in terms of resolving the plot. Reacher systematically dismantles the conspiracy and ensures justice is served. He then moves on, as he always does, walking away alone into the next adventure. The movie, however, has a more sentimental and dramatic ending. There is a stronger emotional closure with Samantha, hinting at the possibility that Reacher could have had a different life if things had gone another way. The film version of Reacher seems to have a moment of reflection before returning to his loner lifestyle.